Hola, how is everybody doing today? This is Tash and Ginny. We're coming in with episode 128 of Riding in the Weeds. And today we're talking about I want to be further along. I set a goal, set a vision. What's going on? Why haven't I gotten the results that I want? So I may as well just quit, right? Seems logical because click my fingers, I get what I want. And although this may be true, once we master certain skills. However, that is a different conversation. The conversation we're going to have right now is about what do we do when we get to this space? Do we give up? Or maybe more importantly, how do we not give up? So I'm Natasha Lucky. I am a mountain bike life performance coach. I work with building businesses, consulting, and helping you to get to where you want to go, getting over yourself so that you can get to your dream life, right? You are probably in the way. It's like the book. I haven't read it yet, but you are the mountain. And that's where we have to overcome. And that is what we're going to talk about today. I am joined, as always, by my lovely co host, Ginny. Introduce yourself. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, I'm Ginny Brandon. I'm an animal communicator and energy healer for animals and their people too. If you are struggling with your pet relationships or just want to know more about the life from their perspective, that would be a great reason to get connected together.
He and I have been having a little bit of a disagreement about the concept of this topic because Ginny's like, this is a should conversation. I'm like, no, I disagree because, yes, I want to be somewhere. I want to be further along. I shouldn't actually be further along, but I want to be. I started going to the gym like on the 30th of January. Not to say I haven't been working out and doing all the things, but I started going. Oh, sorry, not January, December, because that would be in the future.
You're right.
Uh,
You didn't catch that.
and like my weight's going up, which, as Judy says, it should. It's actually positive because I am lifting weights and therefore building muscle. I also went on a 10-day, 11-day like detox weight metabolism program thing, and it talks about amazing results that people get, and I'm like, I'm not getting those results. Although I have a pair of shorts that I put on before I started, and then I put them on and they fit, like I can actually do them up. So the reality is, and every time I go to the gym, I am lifting slightly harder, I'm lifting slightly heavier weights. So there is results 100%, but it's not looking the way I want it to. And then I went surfing the other day and I was like, again, not looking the way I want it to. And that's not even true either. So there's these two conversations that are going on in my head, and I can see the results and I can see the progress and I can see all of these good things happening. And at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but I'm just not where I want to be just yet. Which, if
Yeah.
I sit over there, it makes it very hard to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym. So, how do we keep moving when the progress is not the way we want it to be? And now Jenny can put her argument in as to why this is a should conversation.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, this boils down to resisting where we are, right? We are resisting the reality that we're in because we believe we want to, we think we should, whatever, be some other way than we are in the moment. And I think we just get super tangled up with the ideas of how long things are going to take and what progress looks like. And when you're talking about health challenges, that I think is an easy trap to fall into because there's so many examples all over the internet. Like you said, the results you got from that 10-day experience, 11-day detox experience weren't what was touted. But does that mean you weren't successful with the detox? Does that mean that it didn't benefit you? Probably not. It probably did, but your experience is unique to you and is not the same as everyone else's. And Eddie and I did a 10-day sugar detox diet thing back in November. And our experience didn't line up exactly with what everyone else said. We did see results, but it wasn't the same as what was all the examples that were listed in the book that we were following. We can very easily be mad about the fact that we didn't have the same experience as all these other people that were listed in the book. But do we really need to be upset about that? Because we did see results that we were also happy with when we didn't compare them to the experiences in the book.
Well, and I think that the key there is the comparison, right? Because we are comparing against things we don't actually know the reality to. And when you read between the lines, like if I read the entire document within this diet thing, one of the things it talks about is the idea of switching out your hamburgers and your french fries and your potatoes and whatever other foods that I guess are part of an everyday diet. And I don't eat like that ever.
Yeah.
I stopped eating tacos for 10 days. And to be fair, tacos are actually one of the things that I can have in the next step of it. The thing is when you're not when your starting point is different from other people's starting points, you're going to get different results. And I think where I'm at is it's a portion control thing more than anything else. It's just getting my macros slightly adjusted. But like one of my girlfriends keeps telling me, she's like, Tash, you don't have a weight issue, you have a mental problem. I'm like, true story. And I've actually been realizing that there's something whenever I think about manifestation and when I think about any of these lessons, like I was talking to someone the other day and she was talking about how when we want to make changes, it's like the 1% different thing. If you just make 1 degree pivot from what you would normally do, things will change. And I instantly go to, yeah, if you were going to reach for a Twinkie and instead you reach for a carrot, you're going to start having different results. And for whatever reason, I can see all manifestation and all of that sort of stuff so clearly when I think about weight loss and food and all of those things, because for some reason that is something that I have been trained for my entire life. But I also am like, if I can overcome this, I can solve every other problem in my life. Like my money blocks, my money issues, my money story is all 100% related to my body image and my body story.
Yes.
And if I can be, as you said, right, if I can be okay with who I am, where I am right in this moment, I see myself, I see my reality, I can start to shift the script and I can start to change the film roll and I can start to see a different ending. But as long as I stay stuck in this place of, I'm not getting the results I want, therefore, I'm going to change what I'm doing. I'm going to try something different. I've only been doing it for 3 weeks. Don't give up. Like it takes 6 weeks. You start an exercise program at the gym, you do it for 6 weeks before you change the exercises up. Because otherwise you won't see any results. I know that. I've trained people. I'm a mountain bike coach. I understand the entire philosophy of this. But yet, I still get stuck in this.
Yeah.
So when you think about that and you're like, well, okay, how does this work for the person who's been eating french fries and hamburgers and soda pops? How do they
Yeah.
keep going?
I think this is one of those scenarios that everyone is in a unique place. And there are absolutely people. I mean, the book that we worked from is clearly different than the stuff you're working from, although I don't think it's that different all the way down in the basis of it. But the data is there that there are a lot of people that go through these programs. I don't know what the data is about the longevity of any of it, but there are a lot of people out there who can absolutely go from eating terrible junk to making these kinds of dietary changes in the blink of an eye. And sometimes it just takes being at a point where you're finally ready to make that change, where you're ready to be the person that goes to the gym every day, where you're ready to be the person that makes those choices in the grocery store and brings them home and then eats them instead of ordering out because you're mad there's no snacks in the house. So we can all hit a pivot point where we are ready to make what externally looks like a big change. But as we've talked about before, there's always a lot of little steps that are in that process. They may just not be evident externally, and they may not be, quote, action steps. But a lot of it has to do with how we think about ourselves, how we think about the thing we're working on, and the goal we're working towards. And I think the clearest piece of that is making sure you have your North Star clear in your mind. Because when that is where you're putting your focus, then the little steps, number one, they reveal themselves because it's the next logical step. And number two, you're not worried about what the steps look like at that point. You're just taking the next best one. And this is very much how all of the horse work that I do happens because I know the goal. The goal is to help support their body in the best possible use and optimal function so that they are as comfortable as they can be in their own skin. That's it. That's all I'm working towards. What that looks like, how long it takes, and the experience along the way is 100% unique to every single horse.
Yep.
But when all you're working on is, am I closer to that goal or is this taking me further away from that goal? Then it's not a problem. And you also have the capacity to get through those bumps in the road that look externally like they're taking you further from the goal. But when you really know what your goal is on the inside, you don't have a problem with that because there will be shifts along the way. You going to the gym for 3 weeks and, quote, gaining weight, that's the change in the muscle structure that's going on. And
Totally.
it's the same with the horse work. We run into that periodically where it seems like everything is falling apart. But the thing is, in order for the body to reorganize and to improve usage, it has to, quote, fall apart because you're dismantling the old habits. And this is a pattern I've seen over and over and over again in my life everywhere. Eddie and I were actually having the conversation the other night that the beginning of November, we had the roof debacle going on in the house. We also decided to do the diet at the exact same time as the construction was going on, which was a great plan, of course. All of these things lined up. And we had two of the toughest months between November and December and straight into January that we've had in a really, really long time. And I think what is really going on a deep level is we're unwinding some old stuff. It's not that anything we're doing is wrong. It's not that we have fallen off the wagon, even though we're not going to the gym as consistently as we want to right now. But there's some big layers that are unraveling and peeling away. And if we make ourselves wrong for the struggles we've been in and how terrible we've honestly felt for the last couple weeks, we're going to keep any of that progress that's just out of reach, it's just out of vision. We're going to keep that progress at bay and prevent ourselves from continuing to move forward.
Yeah.
And those are the moments when it looks like externally there's a massive leap where suddenly people start going, wow, you look great. Or, holy cow, how did you do that? I don't understand how you went from what looks like 0 to 60 instantly. What they don't know is that every single little step along the way was there.
Yeah.
It just wasn't visible. And so when we can be okay with whatever the muck is that it feels like we're in the middle of, and continue to only focus on the North Star, the rest of it doesn't matter. And we can allow those layers to fall away. We can allow them to change and shift. And then suddenly we can see the progress again and we can feel the progress again. But making ourselves wrong for where we are in the moment because we think we should be somewhere else or we want to be somewhere else in the moment only prevents us from getting to that very place that we wish we were. Like I heard it described as trying to catch a feather. If there's a falling feather in the air and you go to grasp it, your hand will actually push it away with the movement of the air.
Mhm.
And so by continuing to grasp at what we don't have right now is the way that we keep it away from us. So if we can find out how to be still and be in the moment where we are, that's when the shifts come and the progress starts to be visible and noticeable and tangible and feel it, a felt sense from the inside out.
Well, all we have is the moment that we're in right now. That's just the reality of it. Like, there's so many ways to say it, but we only have the moment that we're in right now. And I think that's the whole idea of having the container. Start where you are is about being in that moment and then looking at the goal and then coming back to it, because what you forget about, or at least in my example, what I forget about is the reason for me doing this thing, right? I'm in the surf and I'm struggling because I feel like I'm in one of those pools where the current is going against me and I'm paddling forward and I'm literally going backwards, and then a wave comes and pushes me back and I'm like, seriously, I walked further out before I started paddling than I am right now, and this is ridiculous. And I'm like, this is why I'm going to the gym, because every time I do arm exercises, I'm getting stronger. If I can get my core stronger, then I can keep my feet up better, which means that I will paddle better. There's a functional reason. I'm going to the gym to lift weights because everything says that if you lift weights when you're over 40 years of age, you're building muscle, which means that you're building strength. Your bone isn't going to break. You're not going to get osteoporosis. There are some functional, like, let's just put vanity aside and society's measure of females, and let's look at the why. The why we go to the gym to lift weights is because there is some serious science behind the health of doing that once you're over the age of 35, but 40 for sure. I have a gym available to me right now, so I am using it. That's actually why I'm there. Anything else that happens is a bonus, but that is actually why I'm there. So there aren't any results that I can see until I'm 80, when I'm like, thank goodness I went to the gym when I was 47 years of age. That was really good. Go Tash. Like, that's really the result. I'm not going to see that until I age better, right? The diet thing is really just a experiment. Like, okay, could I do something better? Like, where am I off? Are my macros off? Could I be fueling myself better? I don't, like, when I eat until later night, my sleeping has been better when I don't snack. And the diet actually really helped me realign my thinking. It gave me a bit of discipline that I didn't have before. Do I need to do it? Probably not. I, there's not that much wrong with my diet. There's nothing really wrong with my activity level. But the whole concept behind our Start Where You Are is a month where once a week you sit down and you actually go, oh, this is the end screen. This is the future vision. This is what I'm doing. I said in my future vision that I was going to have a stronger relationship with my family members, that I was going to feel better in my body, and I was going to feel strong and know that I was making the right steps towards my body, that I was going to enjoy every day that I go to work, that I was going to be able to ride my mountain bike to the top of the hill without feeling like I was going to die. Whatever it is that you put in that end vision, I guarantee you it's probably like, yeah, maybe you might have said, I'm going to look really good in the bikini when I go to Mexico. But you probably didn't. You probably said, I want to feel really strong and I want to feel fit. That's actually, when we go to write down a vision, that's generally what we're going to say, right? We're not going to say, I want my friends to be jealous of my relationship with my husband. right? Like you're not saying that. But then that's the measurement that you start measuring yourself against. But that actually isn't it. So being able to come back and revisit and go, okay, no, my vision isn't superficial. And then being able to measure what you did daily against what you said you were going to do daily, what you did weekly against what you said you were going to do weekly. Because when we measure ourselves against the end goal, the end screen, we don't measure up because it is so far away. And so we want to give up. But if we can bring it back into a weekly, into a daily, into the moment, I chose not to have that chocolate bar, and instead I had a carrot. Like, go me. I chose not to scroll my phone for half an hour. I read the book that I downloaded on Kindle that's also on my phone, that I picked up my phone to do because I want to read the book. Go me. Like, I'm not going to succeed in having read 10 books this year if I'm scrolling on Facebook. Whatever it is, but I haven't read 10 books, I haven't even read 10 pages. That's not what I'm measuring against. I'm measuring against the fact I didn't scroll for half an hour and instead I read my book for half an hour. Like, when we can come back and refocus, and when you can do it in a group of people that are all like, oh, me too.
Yeah.
You feel
That's the
normal.
power of it.
Yeah. You realize
Yeah.
that you're not actually crazy. You're just normal. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day at the beach, and she just looks at me. She's just like, huh, so nice to be able to have these conversations and realize that we were talking about judging people, or I can't even remember what it was, but, she's just like, I feel like such a bad person when I say these things out loud, but you're like nodding and laughing and agreeing with me. I'm like, yeah, because we all do it.
Right.
And then we pretend we don't.
Yeah. We want to be seen as someone who doesn't, but on the inside, it's still happening.
Yeah.
I think that this is one of those situations that when you have the container of people that are all working together towards their own individual North Star, it helps you to be present with all of those little micro decisions all day long, because that's how you have to organize your decisions. Is this action moving me closer to where I want to be? Is this action helpful and useful for where I want to be? Some days that's cleaning the bathroom or doing the dishes, right? Because if you have a clean space, then that enables you to function better to get towards whatever the goal is that you want to be. A clean kitchen enables you to cook better food, which means you make a better choice, right? Like, these are all struggles that we have, but even those actions which don't seem to be related to the goal are. And so when we can sit down and every single step along the way, we keep asking ourselves, is this moving me closer to where I want to be? Is this an action that's going to help me be where I want to be? And like you said, your goal of going to the gym is actually related to surfing because you want to be able to feel good surfing and be strong when you're surfing, because surfing can kick your butt if you're not. And that could be a dangerous situation realistically
It
if you're
can kick
not
you.
strong enough.
It kicks your butt whether you are or not. It just.
Well, you're right. And the less strong that you are, the more likely you are to get hurt doing it, like injured to the point where now you can't do anything, right? Like, now forget surfing because you're going to have trouble walking, kind of injured, or set back to the point where now you have to take 3 months off because you tweak something that if you had been stronger probably would have been protected. I mean, you can't prevent everything with those types of things, but it's the bigger picture that we have to keep going back to when we start to get frustrated with wherever we are that we think we shouldn't be or that we don't want to be. It doesn't matter. The bigger picture is, what are you working towards? What's your goal? And what's the next best small step? Nothing else matters. Nothing.
It's funny because I'm like, actually, like, surfing maybe not stronger to not get injured. It just really helps the mindset, like, of this sucks. I went out the other day and I was like, I don't like this sport. I cannot get my board to where it needs to be because I get halfway there and I'm so freaking tired. I'm
Well,
like,
yeah, that's stamina though, which
I
comes from
give
working out at the gym.
up. I'm like, this is too hard. Okay, I gotta keep battling. I don't want to battle anymore. And that's exactly it, right? And the other thing I think that is so important for me is when we do things physically and we overcome them, then we're not just exercising our body, we're exercising our brain as well. When you're doing the reps at the gym, I do this when I'm mountain biking, I do it with everything that is physical. This is what will get you through that hard thing that you need to do. We're launching a program. We want people to sign up for it. And we're not seeing the numbers that we want just yet. Do we give up? That is how I felt when I was surfing the other day. And it was the exact same feeling. You will get your butt kicked and it will feel too hard and you will want to give up until the moment that you don't. Until you get the wave comes and you turn around and you catch it and it feels incredible and you swore to yourself that the minute you got a wave you were going to go in because this sucked, and then you're like, but I want another one of those. And you go through the whole thing again. And if you're launching a program, if you're launching a business, if you decided to get a puppy, all of these things are going to make you want to quit and give up until you don't. And then you're going to get the success that you were looking for, and that's going to give you what you need to do it again. And it's
Yeah.
going to suck until it doesn't. And then it's going to
Yeah.
suck until it doesn't. And again, that's why when you work with people and you have a container and you can normalize the it's going to suck until it doesn't, it really helps to go mountain biking with a group of people because you suffer together and no one pretends, well, unless you're with a group of certain type of athletes. I shouldn't say no one. But your average humans, good friends are ones that are like, oh my God, how many more corners do we have to go? I'm over it. Yeah, me too. But it's going to be really good. It's going to suck until it doesn't. You get to the top of the hill and then you get to go down and it's incredible. And you're like, yay, let's climb to the top of another hill because we get to do that again.
Yeah. It's all about those small steps. And I think that one of the things that I like to look at is taking the low hanging fruit, right? Looking for that next best, easiest step and not worrying about the other things that are challenging. And the amount of times we can actually cross train ourselves. Like you said, you're in the middle of surfing, and that relates to every struggle you've ever had in business. And every struggle I've ever had with the horses relates to every struggle I've ever had in my own businesses or with any other skills that I've been trying to master. Everything is all connected. And when you can look for that low hanging fruit and grab that, then it makes it so much easier. Like, sure, you could get your strength surfing. You could spend 6 or 8 hours a day out there in the surf. But is that the best way to maximize building your muscle? Hell no, it's not. Go to the gym. It's a lot easier to build the strength in the gym and then go back and apply it to the surfing than it is to try and get all of those skills 100% in surfing.
Well, the
And
thing
the same
is,
is true with the businesses. Go find the things that are physical that help you work through those challenges so that when you go back and sit at your desk, you know how to persevere through whatever that bumpy feeling is because you've felt it before.
well, the thing is, you'll hurt yourself, right? As a mountain bike coach, just mountain biking is not actually going to make you better because you start to do things badly. You get tired, and so then you make mistakes. You get tired, and then you do things the wrong way, and so you pick up habits that are lazy habits. Like surfing, you'll just straight up drown probably at some point.
Yeah.
You'll be too tired. You won't be able to come up. Your business, if you just sit and hammer and hammer and hammer, you will burn out before you get the results that you want. It doesn't matter what you're doing with children, right? If you're trying to raise kids, if you're trying to train animals, like if you just hammer and hammer and hammer, you're trying to improve your relationship. Yeah, let's just nag at our partner until they improve, because that's worked, says no one ever.
Ever.
But when we actually release, we set the goal, we set the end screen, and then we release the energy around it, and then come back to what's actually going to happen next. What's the next part of the film roll? We don't wake up every day and in every moment visualize the end screen and visualize that end vision. You want to be visualizing what's going to happen in the next moment, in the next 10 moments by the end of the day, and then release the energy for that. I'm reading a book right now that's, I really like the concept of, in order to practice winning, you actually envision the thing that is going to happen happening. So you know what's going to happen in the next moment. I'm going to go to the store and get groceries. So you visualize going to the store and getting groceries. And then you're like, hey, look, I manifested the exact thing that I said was going to happen. It was going to happen anyway, but you're now in control of it because you actively visualized the thing happening. I've been practicing it out in the surf. I'll paddle out and I'm sitting there waiting for waves, and I'm visualizing a wave is going to come. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to paddle for it. And then I'm going to, depending on how it's going, but the waves the other day, Ian's like, you got to go left a little bit before you go right, because otherwise you'll lose the wave. And I was like, okay. And the first wave I got, it ran away from me. And then the second wave, I went right instead of going left. And this is when he's like, you got to do it the other way. And so then I sat there and I visualized. The second time, I just visualized catching the wave and riding it, which I totally did. But he's like, you would have ridden it for longer if you'd been able to get into it and stayed with it. And so then the third wave I caught, I dropped in, I went a little left, and right at the right time, I turned and I went right and I rode it along, and it was amazing. Clearly the sponsors should have been on the beach because they all would have been signing me. It was amazing, and it was exactly what I'd visualized. And I was like, yeah. It wasn't hard to visualize that thing, because that's just like, that's, most of that was going to happen. If I caught the right wave, did the right thing, that's exactly what was going to happen. I wasn't manifesting a wave. Yesterday, I was sitting there and I'm like, really? That wave, that's my wave. There is nobody else that's going to take that wave. Like, that is, I'm in the exact right place. It's doing the exact right thing. I turn around, I'm going to catch it. Like, that is my wave. And I was like, yes. Because so often I'm like, yeah, there's a wave coming. Oh, that person's going to take it. Oh, there's a wave coming. I could catch that. Oh, that person already caught it. Here's another one. Oh, somebody else already got it. And it makes me so frustrated. I was like, oh. And every once in a while, I'm in the right place at the exact right time. And I'm the only one there. And I catch it. And I'm like, that was mine. And it's so good. So good. And that was my moment. And that's life. Then we just go looking for those moments.
Yeah. Well, and I think that the reality there is you're never going to catch every wave.
I
Every
want
business
to.
opportunity, but every business opportunity is not for you either. We cannot do everything. And so spending our time just visualizing and waiting and being in that zone and then allowing it to happen and unfold when it arrives is the way to get there. And the more we can allow that flow to happen and let the waves go by that we're not set up for, that we are not ready for, the more we can be in the right spot to catch the one that really is for us in that moment. So it's about just being able to be present with where you are, not fighting where you are or resisting or wishing it was some other way, continuing to refocus on your North Star. What is the reason you're doing all of this for? And look for the next best easy step to take, whether it looks like that's connected or not, because sometimes it won't appear to be connected, but it will serve you in the bigger goal in the end. Sometimes we don't even know how those things are connected until much later, but trusting ourselves that we're making the right step, taking that next step is the one that's the most useful, is the best way that we can move forward. It's not easy because it does take practice. We're conditioned out of this kind of function in our world and our culture. We're conditioned to follow someone else's steps because someone else must know better than we do. So this takes practice and patience with ourselves. But when we can master it, things do smooth out and things will come together in surprising ways, and suddenly you'll have results, or suddenly you'll see something that you would not have been able to see before, if you had, especially if you had been worried about where you were now and why you weren't somewhere else.
Well, and it's practicing actually visualizing the things that are completely within your control. I am going to wake up when the alarm goes off. I'm going to put on the clothes that are on the couch. I'm going to get in the car. I'm going to drive to the gym and I'm going to start working out. I'm going to get on the treadmill and I'm going to see where things go from there. That is 100% within your control, and it is the thing that's going to happen next. So when you visualize that, you start to really build that trust that the things that you visualize will come true. I'll Start Where You Are program. It is going to start at the beginning of February, and I do have an early bird special up, and I realized that was actually supposed to go until a week like before the program started, which February seems to be longer than I thought it was going to be. I'm not really sure. Anyway, that will have expired by the time you're listening to this episode. However, if you're listening to this episode and you did not listen to the episode that we had last week, I'm going to encourage you to go and listen to that episode, because there is an opportunity for you to get a discount on the program. There is a code in there that will give you a 50% off discount. So if you go and listen to the replay of our Future Vision Workshop in our last week's episode, if you have not done that already, go and check it out. I also encourage you to listen to that episode if you haven't, because it really does cement in a lot of what we've been talking about today. And if you take the time to actually go through the workshop, every single person who came was blown away. Every time I've ever done this workshop, people are blown away. I did it in a business group of 25 ladies one time, and I could honestly sit here and tell you how many of those people, like within a month, I was blown away. I'm like looking, I'm like, hey, that was something you wrote down that you kind of laughed at and struggled with believing that it was even possible. And now that's exactly what you've created. The power of doing the exercise is incredible. So, which is why I love doing the workshop. So go and listen to that. The Start Where You Are is a 4-week container. And inside of it, we're going to have a weekly live coaching call where we're going to regroup. We're going to reset our visions. We're going to see where we are. We're going to see where we've gone. We're going to connect with each other so we can normalize that feeling of being in the moment and celebrating what's happened as opposed to what you want to have happened, because that doesn't get us anywhere. And when we do it together, it keeps the accountability going. It makes you feel normal. It makes it easier not to give up. So often we do things, we read things, we hear things. I'm not the only one that goes through Instagram and reads reels and looks at reels and goes, oh, that sounds like a great idea. And then you don't follow through on any of it. And you wonder why you're not getting anywhere, right? Partly because we shouldn't really be getting our advice off Instagram 30-second reels.
There's that.
But that's why things like this are really helpful, because it's not a 30-second Instagram reel. It's actually making a commitment to yourself to get to where you want to go. And that is the only way we are going to get out of our own way and create the dream life that we're really wanting to create. Because otherwise we're just asleep at the wheel. Otherwise we are NPCs. Like, what does that even stand for? Non-participating Characters.
Character.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if the P is participating or non-playable or something like
Non-playing
that, but yeah.
characters, something like that. Like that's what.
Clearly, we're
Yeah.
not gamers, so there's that.
Clearly, I know that the NPC means that I am not participating, but I'm so like if you were to be in a game, there's all those characters that are just standing around. There's a great movie about when like the NPCs and they I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's amazing. It's so cool and they become sentient and they're not supposed to be. And they're like, "Hey, I'm really sick of doing the same thing every single day. I want to do something different." And I'll find out the name of this movie because that is literally how we are living our lives. We are these characters that get up, we go to the job, we do the thing, we go home. And it's like, hey, what do I even do when I go home? Because it's not part of the game, right? And they all
Yeah.
just go somewhere. And we don't want to be the NPCs in the game. We want to be the characters in the game that are consciously moving around the playing field. Because then we get everything that we want and we start to be able to shift reality. That is what we are going to do for the month of February. And the program is $197. The early bird was $147. And as I say, if you go back to last week, you will find a code that will give you 50% off. And that's Canadian dollars. So come join us, and I promise you, you will be somewhere different on the 28th of February. See, I even said that. I'm like a month ahead of myself. January has like 31 days. So the 20th of January is still 11 days away from the end of the month. We still have lots of time. And so therefore, don't miss out. And yeah, come join us. It'll change the trajectory of your year. I promise. And that's about all I have to say.
Yeah, I think we're good. I love it.
Okay, thank you so much for being with us today. I am Natasha Lucky. I am a life mountain bike performance coach, and I'm just here doing my kind of crazy and helping people get out of their own way so that they can create the life that they've always dreamed of. You can find me on Instagram at Betty Go Hard. You can find me on Facebook, Natasha Lucky, and I am on Substack, Natasha Lucky also. I spend most of my time on Facebook, let's be honest. Find me there.
For better, for worse, right?
Keep trying.
Right. I am Jenny Brandon. I'm an animal communicator and energy healer for animals and their people too. If you are looking to get to know your pet a little bit better or understand why they do the thing that they do, and you would like to make some shifts in how you relate to your pets, that's a great reason to get connected. You can find me on the web at soulpetconnections.com and on Substack, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube under the same handle. So thank you so much for joining us today for this wild ride through the weeds. We are on Substack as our primary place. Everything is under writingtheweeds.com. And if you would please like, share, and send this out to your friends, we would really appreciate it. And otherwise, we will see you next week.
See you guys next week.